Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Chris. Continuing the fall series, today's video is all about the niche perfumes that I am really excited to wear for the fall season. Let me tell you, there's no question that we are in fall right now. It is in the 30s here in the Midwest, and it is time for some warm and cozy perfumes. So I've already done my designer picks for fall, and I've already done a video on Middle Eastern picks for fall. Today's video is about my niche picks. And then after this, I'm going to do my affordable picks for the fall season, the colder weather. This was really difficult. Some of them did get left out, but I am planning on doing a special video next week, which will include some of my fall picks that I absolutely love that you will not see today. So before I jump in, if you are not yet subscribed and you enjoy my content, I would love it if you would join my channel. And if you get anything out of today's video, I would love a nice thumbs up. It does help the algorithm. And then I will dive right in. The first perfume I picked is not a new perfume to my viewers too. Excuse me. And today's drink is Fresca. Man, I love that one. So one of the first perfumes I picked was Rock the Myrrh. You guys know, oh my gosh, I love this perfume. So I would call this like a spicy, resinous, peppery amber perfume with lots of depth. Oh my gosh. Lots of character. It starts off a little bit green, like there's a little bit of cypress in here, a little bit of pepper. Now, when I say a little bit of pepper, I kind of mean a lot of pepper. In the beginning, it is a little bit of a pepper blast to the face, and that green, kind of evergreen cypressy note is pretty prominent, but those fade, and then this becomes this beautiful, warm, spicy, resinous amber. It has myrrh in here. So there's a little bit of a sweet, cold, non-burned incense thing going on in the background. And it has a prominent leather accord in the beginning that's just the slightest bit animalic, a little bit funky. That lasts about maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Then it becomes this beautiful, warm, spicy amber with a little splash of myrrh. This thing lasts forever. It's one of my most addictive scents when I'm wearing it. When I spray it on my arm, I can't stop smelling myself. Big compliment getter. Like I've said before, I really don't care about compliments, but people really, really find it very attractive when I wear it and they want to know what I'm wearing. The next one I'm going to choose is the fragrance that made me believe that maybe I could love Oud. And this is a great gateway Oud perfume as long as you like some gourmand elements. And it is by Montal. I haven't shown this in forever. This is Honey Oud. And this is basically a cinnamon, honey, woody perfume. Now the oud in here is not skanky at all, but when you smell it, you can say, well, first you're gonna get a lot of cinnamon and a lot of honey. And the honey is not animalic at all. It's just sweet and thick, but not overwhelming. I don't know, it's really, really nice. And it is gourmand. So you do kind of have to you have to be able to tolerate some sweetness. And the oud comes in as a woody note, and it is a little bit exotic. I would call it exotic, but not skanky and not barnyardy at all, but only slightly detectable as an oud. It's to the point where sometimes I question, is oud really in here? But it is. So it is a baby oud with delicious cinnamon and honey. And on me, this thing lasts forever, particularly when I spray on clothes. It is so yummy and delicious in the colder weather. I'd never wear this in the warmer weather, but I love to pull it out for sweater weather like today. Okay, the next two, I've got a couple of Penhaligon's portraits. The first one is Mr. Thompson here. He is a beautiful, and most of these fragrances, I forgot, most of these fragrances are very, very unisex. I have one fragrance that is marketed towards females, but I oftentimes forget my male subscribers, my male viewers, and every once in a while they'll reach out to me on Instagram or send me a DM. And I realize I overlook you guys a lot of times. So this is very, very inclusive with mostly completely unisex scents. So I'm gonna pull Mr. Thompson here. He is a beautiful, warm, orangey, sesame vanilla that starts off maybe a little bit leaning towards the more masculine side. I think there's lavender, a little bit of pepper, some geranium, but definitely have that beautiful orris, vanilla orris, and it kind of reminds me of like a Dior Homme, you know, in that line. There's that beautiful warm sesame. The sesame is pretty prominent, and I do love a sesame. It gives it a little bit of a nuttiness It's very warm. It is a little bit earthy, but that vanilla keeps it out of the, you know, that too dry and earthy type of a scent. It has a cocooning vibe to it. It's very cozy. It's very warm. Terrific for the colder weather. It is not a beast. It does not project at all like a beast, but I really, really do love it, and it just hits the spot. Another portrait and another one that does not project like a beast, and I don't really care, is Mr. Arthur. We have Arthur here. This is a beautiful, warm, incensey vanilla that has a little bit of freshness, so I think there's a little bit of ambrette, so a little bit of a botanical musk, and it's got some fresher notes. It has a little bit of grapefruit, and I want to say sage. So some very nice, very mild aromatic notes. Again, very, very unisex, some sort of very nice, soft, warm wood in the base. I would again assume cedar, maybe sandalwood. I would probably choose cedar. And another one that does not project like a beast. And both of these were very, very expensive when I first bought them, because I bought them when they first came out, and now, you know, they're starting to, the price is coming down. You can find them on some discounter, some reputable discounter websites. So they're not astronomical in price, and I just love this. This is, I would say this is a good gateway incensey vanilla because it's not too spicy, it's not too smoky, and it has a little bit of freshness. So a good gateway one. Okay, so oftentimes when I show perfumes, I have a pretty good idea of what fragrances are going to be polarizing and why. So I have a good idea of why people might hate a fragrance. This next fragrance is a big love for me, and apparently it's very polarizing. And this is one that kind of stumps me. I don't know what it is about this perfume that makes it, to some people, not lovable. And it could be because of the name. Because the name is very gourmand. I'm talking about Blue Madeleine, and this is not, you know, a typical Madeleine cookie. It doesn't smell like a cookie or a sponge cake. It really does smell like smoky, milky tea. It is primarily a warm, milky, spicy tea that does have a gourmand vanilla, and that vanilla has a slight smokiness to it. I think the vanilla in here is similar to the vanilla in Lune Feline. However, it's not even remotely as close as smoky. I personally think that is one of the smokiest vanillas on the market. This one has that same vanilla in the background, deep in the dry down, but it's not nearly as smoky and resinous. It's way less dense. So if you are a tea lover like I am, and a vanilla lover, this to me is absolutely beautiful. Another one that's quiet. It does not project greatly. I don't care. It has a nice tight scent bubble, and I think it's just yummy. The next one, I guess, would be another gateway vanilla by Carnaval Barcelona, or a gateway gourmand, not vanilla. This is Rima 11, and when I first, so you have to like cardamom. So this is for my cardamom lovers. So it does have a vanilla, but the vanilla in here is not overly gourmand. It's a very spicy vanilla. And so when I first smell it, it reminds me of like an eggnog, a light, low-fat eggnog with lots of spices. It has nutmeg, of course, cardamom, and a little bit of cinnamon. So a beautiful light or a low-fat eggnog, and as it dries down, it becomes much more woody. And the wood in here, I almost get like a little bit of a corn flour, you know, like a little biscuity thing in the dry down. So a little bit like a light spicy eggnog or a low-fat spicy eggnog served with a biscuit. So it's quite lovely, in my opinion. Very, very spicy and not overly sweet. So if you don't like your vanillas overly sweet and you like a hefty dose of cardamom, this is beautiful. And it's by Sonia Constant, and she is the nose behind many, many amazing fragrances, you know, Ella K, the whole line, Ella K being one of them. Okay, when fall rolls around, I am always reaching for my amber fragrances. I have a ton. And one I've been wearing recently is one by the House of Day 3. It is an amazing indie house that I discovered, you know, right when they came out, and I think I finally have every fragrance in their line, and I will be doing an entire house review, I think maybe within the next 2 weeks. But the one I'm showing today is a fragrance I have been wearing of late. It's Àmbar Dominicano, and as you probably can guess, this is an amber-based fragrance with a Dominican twist. So the main accord in here is based on a Dominican rum, and I think it's called Mama Juana. Mama Juana? Mama Juana? Mama Juana. Anyways, it is a spiced rum that apparently every household in the Dominican Republic has a bottle of, always around. This one is based on the family bottle of the Mama Juana. So it is a boozy amber. It's very spicy. I do get, oh, it smells so good. I do get cinnamon. So I do get cinnamon. There might be a little bit of nutmeg in here, but I definitely get cinnamon. That was my Dominican Chihuahua who had to be escorted out of the room. Anyways, a very beautiful, boozy Dominican take on an amber. And I did wear this to work, I want to say last week. And somebody from one of my friends said, you smell really good. It's very pleasant. It's a very pleasant smell. Yes, I would definitely say a very easy, pleasant unisex amber with a slight gourmand flair. And again, I will be doing that house review in the next couple weeks. The next one is the only one that is marketed to female. It was the only, or the first fragrance marketed to females by Fragrance Du Bois. That was a tongue twister. And it is my Sirene. I have been waiting forever to wear this, a beautiful cherry-based fragrance, a woody cherry, a milky woody cherry fragrance. I still can't believe I haven't done a cherry-based fragrance review. I have so many. And for some reason, I really do enjoy wearing cherry year-round, but there's something about the fall when I love to wear cherries. So the cherry in here, I will say it leans slightly syrupy, but not cough syrupy. It has a slight syrupy sweetness, and I will give Fragrance Du Bois props for the way they do their oud. I love their oud. The oud in the fragrances that I own is very smooth. It's non-animalic. It's non-skanky. It's just smooth and well blended, and easy, I would say an easy beginner oud. So it's creamy, it's milky, it's spicy, it has a little bit of, I want to say pepper, and I want to say it's black pepper, very, very light, and that comes out in the beginning, and I want to say just the splash of incense, but it really dries. It goes from a beautiful kind of a milky, creamy, slightly boozy, syrupy cherry into a resinous, a warm resinous ambery cherry with a little bit of woods in the background. Oh my gosh, I love it. Definitely one of my favorite Fragrance Du Bois fragrances at the moment. Okay, one of my favorite pickups of this year, and nobody talks about it, and I really don't know why. Well, I mean, it just appeals to me. Doesn't mean it's gonna appeal to everybody. A very beautiful unisex vanilla fragrance that I think is just underrated is by Navitus, and this is Splendor Absolu. I knew nothing about this until I went through the discovery set and I sprayed it, and I was like, what is this delicious, beautiful perfume? So I would call this a boozy, spicy, citrusy vanilla with warm woods and musk. Now, the few times I have shown it here and over on Instagram, I've had people ask me, does it smell like baby cat? My answer would be, it does remind me of one other fragrance. I mean, it has elements that remind me of one other fragrance. And I can see how people would think it smells like baby cat. If you want to be a lumper, if you want to lump things together, it would be in the baby cat lump. If I split things, this has a lot of differences. So when this opens up, it has this beautiful kind of a creamy vanilla lemon accord. It smells like a lemon meringue pie. And if you know anything about baby cat is all about the spices and the incense. And the pepper and the resins and the incense really comes out in the beginning. This has none of that. This has no pepper. I don't believe this has any incense. And the opening is very lemony, very vanilla. As it goes towards its dry down, it's really a boozy vanilla. And I'll say vanilla with a little bit of booze, and I want to say it's rum. So it is a soft, slightly gourmand vanilla with some boozy elements. And as it dries down, it's got this woody muskiness. Now the musk in here does remind me of the musk in Rosanna Matu number 5. Now that perfume did not work out for me. It was way too much. So take that musk, that kind of animalic, sexy musk, and tone it way down. So if Rosanna Matu is on a scale of 10 out of 10, this one would be a scale of 2 out of 10 as far as loudness. So that musk is really, really toned down. And so I see this having more similarities to Rosanna Matu number 5 than Baby Cat. That's just me. This wears on the quiet side, and it is one of the very few fragrances in this category that is appropriate for lots of activities because it is not loud and in your face. It is very expensive. Again, I recommend testing first, and Scent Split carries all of the Navitus and Viva More fragrances, which is really, really nice because this one was completely worth it to me. It was worth the splurge. The next one is a fragrance I haven't talked about in a really long time by The Scents of Wood, and this is called Praline In Maple. And I know Plum and Cognac gets most of the love, and I did love that one, but I really am drawn more towards this beauty right here. It is a nutty, woody, spicy fragrance with a little bit of incense. It has chestnut, so the main note is chestnut. The vanilla in here is non-gourmand at all. It has a little bit of Peru blossom or Tolu blossom. So it has a little bit of a, you know, a woody, ambery thing going on. There's a little bit of something fresh and green, certainly not soapy and floral. It might be the balsam note in here. Definitely some peppery notes, a little bit of clove, and again, incense. It is slightly smoky. And there's something a little bit cold about it too. So a little bit smoky, a little bit cold. This one has been compared a lot to By the Fireplace because they share a lot of notes. You know, they share the chestnut note, they share vanilla, they share some sort of balsam note. By the Fireplace is way sweeter. It's a lot more sweeter. This one's a little bit more spicy and woody. I would say the more, you know, less gourmand of the two, definitely unisex, like all of my picks for today. And it's just so, so nice to wear in the cold weather and never wear that in the warmer weather. Now, I'm really into the eccentric molecules fragrances this year. I think I have 4 or 5 now. And this one that I am going to be pulling for is something that gives me a break from all of the heavy, you know, the very warm, heavy, spicy, vanilla, leathery, ambery fragrances that I'll be pulling for. Sometimes I just want a break, but maybe not a complete break. I don't want to do a freshie. I don't want to do something, you know, floral and musky. I'm going to pull for this one. This is Molecule 04. This is Javanol, which is a synthetic form of sandalwood. And the way it's done in here, it's still very true to its woody base or its woody nature, but there's something a little bit fresh about it. It's creamy, it's smooth, it's fresh, and how it has a little bit of a brightness to it. And I fell in love with it when I went down to visit my mom, and I had given her my bottle that I literally never wore it. I bought it, never wore it. And then I smelled it on her. I'm like, oh my gosh, she smells so good. So I came back and bought myself the large bottle. This is so good. It's great on its own. I will say I do wear it on its own, but you could definitely, I mean, could pair these two together. These would be a match made in heaven. So, so good. And for a molecular fragrance, this one has really good lasting power and it projects great. I guess I have a little runner up, and it is my Sissa. I am now, by Mind Games, I'm now in my second 5 ml bottle. There's no way of avoiding me getting a full bottle. I've been dying to wear this. This is so beautiful and one of my favorite Mind Game fragrances. It's got that Bianco latte vibe without the coumarin, which to me kind of smells like a minty, grassy thing. It's a little bit more smooth, it's a little bit more creamy, and it has a lovely, soft, very, very smooth, warm, sweet sesame note in the background. Oh my gosh, I love it. So that's it. Oh my gosh, I like a dog. I have one more. I'm gonna be wearing a lot this fall. I've shown this one time before, Red. This is a beautiful sandalwood-based fragrance. It's this nutty sandalwood fragrance, and it really takes me on a journey. It is the opposite of a linear scent. You know, when this opens up, it's got some citruses. Almost smells like a lemon meringue pie. You don't get it from the atomizer, but you definitely get it when you wear it. It's got some, you know, bergamot, lemon, something like that. But to me, it comes off like a lemon meringue pie that doesn't last very long, and then it goes into this weird kind of spicy chip zone. It smells like a tortilla chip. That's not my favorite. I mean, I don't hate it, but it's interesting, but I'm ready to move on when it gets, and that only lasts about maybe 15 minutes, and then it moves into this beautiful sandalwood. This is such a great sandalwood. It's like this warm, smooth, cozy sandalwood covered with like a hazelnut butter. sprinkled with cardamom. So another one for people who love kind of nutty notes, and the hazelnut in here is very, very creamy, very buttery, but it does have a very nice kick of cardamom. So that's it. So that was it. Some of my top picks, not all, but some of my top picks for fall weather, very unisex. Perfumes I have already started to wear and will continue wearing, and I am ready for this nice cold weather that we're having. Before I say goodbye, let us all know in the comments below, do you have any, niche fragrances or fragrances that you are really looking forward to wearing in the colder months? Thanks again for sticking around. Thanks for watching. If you like my content, you got something out of it, I would love a thumbs up. It does help the algorithm. And with that, I'll see you on the next one.